In the last video we had learnt the phrases, and now in this video we will learn about the clauses. So we can see here in the definition that a clause is comprised of group of words which includes subject and a finite verb. Let's see it through the example. He is sleeping. It is a one clause. It is a sentence. Sentences may include one clause, two clauses, sometimes three clauses. This one is of the one clause. So here we have to find out the subject and the finite verb. If it comprises the subject and the finite verb, then it is a clause. So we can see that he is the subject, doer of the action, and is sleeping. Out of is sleeping, both are verbs, but is the finite verb which can change according to the tenses. So it is called finite verb. If you want to understand finite, non-finite at length, you can see the video of phrases. It is given at length. So here subject and finite verb both are given. So we can say that he is sleeping is a clause. Let's take another example. The kids were laughing at the joker. So here the kids is a subject and were is the verb, because verb again can change into is am if it is present, into will be shall be if it is future. So that way it can change its form according to the tense, and sometimes according to subject also it changes its form to from where to was. So these are the clauses which comprises subject and a finite verb. Now let's see the types of clauses. That means the independent or main clause and dependent or the subordinate clause. Now when we talk about independent or main clause, it consists of subject and verb, and the main thing is it can express its complete sense without any other clause's help. Whereas in the dependent or subordinate clause, we find the subordinating conjunction first, that is that and if, unless, wh words like where and etc. I will give you the list of the subordinating conjunction. So those conjunctions come first and then subject verb, but the difference is in the meaning. Independent or main clause, as the name suggests, it is independent for its meaning, and the dependent or subordinate clauses are dependent for their meanings on the independent clause. Without depending on the independent clause, dependent clause cannot complete its meaning. It cannot express the clear sense. Third difference is, as I said, it can stand alone. Independent sentence, independent clause can stand alone, whereas dependent clause cannot stand alone because it is not able to express a complete thought. That's why it has to be dependent on the independent. And let us see some examples to understand it. He is buying a shirt which looks very nice. So underlined part is the independent clause, because even if we remove which looks very nice, this much, even then he is buying a shirt, it is capable enough to complete meaning, capable enough to express the sense. It is also having subject and a finite verb. Okay, so this comes into the category of the independent or the main clause. Whereas in this underlined part, you can see that which looks very nice. So here which is the subordinating conjunction, and that looks is the verb. Here subject is omitted. We can just use it for the subject, but here it is omitted. So wh word which is the subordinating conjunction used here, and then verb. Now if we remove this much part, which is independent clause or main clause, if we remove this much part, then we will not be able to understand what does it mean to say it is not capable to express its meaning. It is an incomplete thought. If we say which looks very nice, then what does it mean? It does not mean anything. So it has to be used along with the independent clause. Okay, so it does not express a complete thought and can't stand as a sentence, but main clause can stand as a sentence alone. So these are the difference. You should watch them again, and you should understand very well, and you can note them down also. Next, let us see some examples to understand. Like there are, as I said, one clause sentences, two clause sentences, three clause sentences, in which either one clause comes or two clause or three clauses. If we look at here, I graduated last year. So here I subject graduated finite verb. So it is capable to express the clear sense on its own. It can stand alone. So it is a main clause. Okay, here it is one clause. It is also called a sentence. This one is also called a sentence. Here we have two clauses. When I came here, I saw him. So when I came here, this is the subordinating clause or else dependent clause, because if we just speak when I came here, so it remains incomplete. So it has to be dependent on this part, main clause or independent clause, to clear its sense. So these are the two clauses sentence, and here we find the three clause sentence. When I came here, I saw him and he greeted me. So he greeted me is the third clause which is added here in this sentence. So all these three are called as the sentence, but sentence may contain one clause or two or sometimes three. Now let us take some examples of independent clauses, and in the next slide some examples of dependent clauses. So here is the example. He is a wise man. So he subject is finite verb and it is capable of expressing its meaning. It can stand alone, so it's an independent clause. Next is I like him. Again I subject, like, finite verb, and it can express its complete meaning. Can you do it? These two are the assertive sentence. This is interrogative. We may have imperative or exclamatory sentences also, but the condition is that it should contain subject and finite verb. So if it is there, the condition is fulfilled, then we can say that it is an independent clause, and it should be capable to express clear sense without taking help of any other clause. The next is do it please. In this sentence also can is verb, finite verb, and you is the subject. Here also you can see do is the verb. Here you is the subject, but it's hidden, it's not written. It is understood that it is spoken to the person who is standing before us. So do it please, this also makes sense on its own. It can stand alone, so it is also an independent clause. This is the imperative sentence. First two are the assertive sentence, this one is interrogative, and the last one is the imperative sentence. Next, I read the whole story. So I subject, read is the finite verb, and it's a complete thought. So again it's called independent clause. Now let's take a look at the dependent clauses. So in dependent clauses we know that it does not have its own sense. It has to be dependent on the main clause of the independent clause. So when I was dating Diana, if we just speak this much, it does not make clear meaning. And the other structure we had seen that it begins with the subordinating conjunctions. So here when is the subordinating conjunction, then subject, then verb. So it cannot stand alone. It has to be used along with the independent or main clause. Next example, I know the man who stole the watch. So here who stole the watch, which begins with subordinating conjunction who, is the dependent clause. If we just say who stole the watch and full stop, then it does not make sense. So it has to be used along with this, because we are talking about this man, and this clause is describing the noun, the man. So if it is used along with main clause, then only it can clear sense. So again it is dependent for its meaning on the main clause or independent clause. Next, he bought a car which was too expensive. So if we just say which was too expensive, it cannot make meaning. So it has to be again dependent on this part for its meaning, because this clause is used for the car noun. Next is I know that he cannot do it. So if we just say that he cannot do it, again it's incomplete thought. So the underlined parts you can see cannot stand on their own, cannot stand alone. They have to be dependent on the independent clause or the main clause for their meaning. Next example is he does not know where he was born. So here where subordinating conjunction, he subject and was is the finite verb. So these are the criterias or the rules we need to check when we are told to identify the highlighted part as the phrase or clause or type of clause. And this is, I think, last example. If you don't eat, I won't go. In 1, 2, 3, 4, in this second, third, fourth and fifth, you can see the dependent clause is used in the later half of the sentence, but in the first one and the last one, this dependent clause is used in the beginning, in the first half of the sentence. So it can be used in either first half or else in the later half of the sentence, but the condition is all start with subordinating conjunction, like here when, who, which, that, where, if, and then subject and verb. Sometimes if subjects are not written, then it is understood that who is the subject, that's why it is not written. Here he is the subject, but as man is written, we are not repeating the pronoun. And here also car is used, so we are not repeating it. If we want, we can use it as the pronoun. So when, who, which, that, where, if, these are the subordinating conjunctions, and then subject. Okay, I, he, you, these are the subject, and then finite verb, was, stole, was, can, was, and do not. So this way we can understand that dependent clause cannot stand alone, they have to be dependent on the independent clause, main clause. Here is last example. He is very talented player, though he is out of form. So if we say though he is out of form, again does not make clear sense. So subordinating conjunction though, he subject, and is the finite verb. Yes, so this is how we have to check. And for today's video it is this much only, and in the next video we shall learn different types of clauses.